Okay.
Hi, this is Patrick Ralston. I'm the director of the Arkansas Arts Council here in Little Rock, Arkansas. Been quarantining like the rest of you across the state, and I know that a lot of you have a lot of questions, and I can tell you that right now your Arkansas Arts Council staff, although we are not in our headquarters here in Little Rock, we're all working from home, but the work of the Arts Council has gone on. We continue to be in touch with many of our artists and our arts organizations. I know that a lot of you have grants from that are currently active, have a lot of questions about your grants, have interest in resources that could benefit you as an artist or your organizations. And I think that there's going to be probably a few questions today about the federal relief bill, the CARES bill that included money for the National Endowment for the Arts, some of which the Arts Council will be getting April 30th to fund grants, relief grants for organizations here in the state. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. There's a lot I don't know, but there's a lot that we're working out right now. But there are a lot of things that I can at least talk about, and I want to hear what you're doing. I want to hear what's going on in your organization. If you are an artist, I want to know how are you managing during quarantine. If you're quarantined, you might be working. I'm kind of interested. I'm just as socially isolated as everybody else, and so I'd like to know how everybody in our arts family is doing. So this is your opportunity. So I'm here with Scarlett Sims, who is our public information specialist. There she is. And so if I look off camera, it's because I can't read the questions very well from where I'm sitting, and she will probably be reading them to me. So, if you've got questions, you can type them in and send them to me, and I'll try to address them as best I can. So, we got something, Scarlett?
Yeah, let's talk about some of the grants we already have. Today's the last day for fellowships.
That's correct. That's correct. We have our today is the last day to register to apply for our Arkansas Arts Council Artist Fellowships. We are, of course, we accept applications in 3 disciplines and generally award 3 awards in each discipline. So that's a total of 9 awards. They are $4,000 grants to artists who are excelling in their field, in their discipline, and it rewards their the continuing body of work and encourages them to continue in those disciplines.
And this year's categories are screenwriting, theater district, and painting, except on paper.
Screenwriting, screenwriting, theater director. Okay, yeah, theater direction, and painting, not on paper. Small work, yeah, painting not on paper. That's tough.
Yeah.
But we encourage you to get your application in. You apply online, and you can go to arkansasarts.org, and what was that wrong?
No, that's good.
Okay.
No, that's right.
Okay, you just look sad. arkansasarts.org and apply, and I encourage you, if you're an artist out there working in any of those disciplines, I encourage you to apply. This is just another way that we try to support the portfolio of art in Arkansas. So.
And we also have some veteran grants.
That's right. We continue to have we continue to give out our mini grants for their arts and education mini grants and our lifelong learning mini grants. And lifelong learning includes specially targeted grants for veterans organizations. You are doing programs for veterans, a veteran service organization. We encourage you to apply. Their grants up to $1,000. They are for just if they fund visual performing arts programs for veterans. Right now, again, with the limitations on veterans, this quarantining. This is a program where we're also encouraging artists to do online programs and organizations do online programs. So, it takes a little innovation, but we are encouraging. Right now, we are using a lot of our discretion to encourage that innovation. How can we deliver these programs to folks without violating CDC guidelines? And if you've got an idea, I encourage you to either email or give us a call, and we will love to talk to you about your ideas. So, what else we got, Scarlett?
Some of those virtual programs, does that apply for arts and education?
That would. Arts and education, certainly. We give a lot of our mini grants out. Under ordinary circumstances, we give them out for art residencies in schools. Now, obviously, the schools are not in session right now, but for arts organizations that want to do online educational programs, and then you need to hire an artist in residency for that, we encourage you to apply for our mini grants, because they are, we still have money in the pot. We still need to get that money out there where it's working to promote the arts and hopefully deliver art education programs to the folks at home. So, yeah, I encourage you to apply there. Again, all of our grants are available through arkansasarts.org. That's our state homepage. What else we got, Scarlett?
Anything new with Arts on Tour? Artists on Tour?
We still have Arts on Tour money. Again, the major problem with Arts on Tour of actually doing performances is that right now we're fairly limited on venues, gathering places, but we can look at the possibility of doing live shows on the web. And again, we're in some ways we're kind of making this up as we go along, but I'm really encouraging new ideas. So get a hold of us. Get a hold of Jess Anthony. He is our grants manager in the office. Many of you know him, and you can reach him by email at jess.anthony, ANTHONY, at arkansas.gov. And we would love to talk to you about your ideas for how to deliver performance, deliver a traveling exhibition, tour an exhibition virtually. So we're even pursuing that idea ourselves with our Small Works on Paper exhibition, which kind of got stuck out there on tour this year when the COVID-19 crisis hit, and so we've decided that we're going to introduce a Small Works on Paper online virtual gallery, and so you'll be looking for that here pretty soon. So, what else?
Just for people who don't know, what is Small Works on Paper?
Small Works on Paper is, again, it's our annual. It is our annual juried traveling exhibition, and it is just what it says. It is Small Works on Paper. They could be photographed, they could be mixed media, painting, watercolor, you name it. But anyway, it was on tour this year. I believe it got stuck in at Rich Mountain Community College, if I'm not mistaken. And so, you know, we are trying to make other plans until we're able to make it available for the public again. Scarlett, what else we got?
We got a question. Let me see what it says. Whoa, it's long. Oh, goody. Okay. Our music live performances are paused as a venue, and festival events aren't a thing right now. And, okay. And salon is mandated closed. She has a salon and a music business.
Okay.
So, we are online busking and looking for opportunities to do music for sync right now. Also working on resources for sharing our music middle class with the next generation of artists. So
Is that a Monster Boy question?
that is totally a Monster Boy question.
Yeah.
You know, they've been really good about taking up our Sally grants, which
They
we
have.
also haven't talked about yet. But
Yeah.
but from what I understand, they've lost like a lot of money just from having all these events and things canceled. And
Yeah.
so, do you have any recommendations for them, or things that we might have in the pipeline that might help them in the future?
Well, we are looking at opening up the Sally Williams grant, which is, of course, a grant. It's named for Sally Williams, our longtime artist services manager here at the Arts Council, who passed away some years ago. It's in her memory, and this is a grant that funds opportunities for artists to. It's a professional development grant, and it very often it's a matching grant. It helps fund travel or study opportunities, training opportunities for artists. But it is my hope that we will be able to expand those some to include online opportunities. We are still looking at some of the logistical concerns about that, but and you know, that's something that I would definitely look at. Well, I hope to have an announcement on that here in the next few days. So hang on for that. And of course, I want to also, for my friends out there who are artists, either full time or it makes up part of your if it makes up part of your income. Certainly, you want to. I want to encourage you to look at we have a toolbox, what we call the COVID-19 resource toolbox on our website, and it has links to small business opportunities, small business administration opportunities, and other federal relief funds. So there's kind of I know a lot of you are pursuing kind of a cocktail of resources, including unemployment. So I just encourage you to look at that, because every opportunity that I find or that Scarlett finds, we put out there, and so that we're trying to make it kind of a one-stop shopping for artists and arts organizations. We put something on there every day. So
and we try to make it for Arkansas. There's a lot out there, and so
yeah.
I try not to put Boston.
Yeah, exactly. We're looking for mainly for Arkansas opportunities, but there are some right now, part of the federal relief package. There are several programs that are coming down the pike. Hopefully, that will be beneficial to all Arkansans. But of course, we're very interested in artists, keeping artists employed, keeping them paid, keeping you creating. So.
She was wanting to know specifically too, could she tap into grants for veterans if it was a live streaming program of some kind?
Well, give us a call and let's talk. Let's talk about I'm not going to review grants here online, but I will definitely tell you that we are open to ideas, and just come in with a proposal and let's talk.
Okay. And then I know there are a lot of arts organizations that are struggling, and some that are talking about closing permanently. What do we have in the pipeline that might help soon?
Well, that's kind of where we are hoping that we'll be able to utilize our piece of the CARES Act, which is the Major COVID Relief Act. We were notified day before yesterday that we will receive $441,000 from the National Endowment for the Arts for grants to arts organizations in order to provide relief during this crisis. And now, like so many things, the federal government gives us money, and then we have to come up with rules and procedures for how to award that money. I am looking at that and developing those rules on an emergency. I'm on an emergency timeline right now. So it's fortunate that we do have the General Assembly in its fiscal session right now, so that we can potentially get some rules through the pipeline, get the appropriation to spend that money, and so I am hoping that I'm expecting. I'm operating on a timeline of having those grants available no later than July 1st. And beyond that, I don't really want to discuss the criteria, except to tell you that our focus is always going to be on the local, mainly the local nonprofit arts organizations that really make up the backbone of arts programs in the state of Arkansas. And many of you are already participating in our general operating support grants. I will tell you that the NEA is breaking with tradition on a lot of things here. They have suggested that this money is available for not just for programs, but for general operating support, basically to help out those organizations that have needs. And so I'm very seriously, we are working to put together this separate grant program to provide relief any way we can. You know, it's relatively not much, but it could be the difference, and I'm going to do everything I can to get it to you as quickly as possible. So hang in there, and please keep in touch with us. Tell us what's going on. We will try to help either with your existing grant or in prepping for a relief grant any way we can. Thanks.
Oh, I just have one more question.
Okay.
We haven't received the money yet, right?
We won't receive the money we won't have it available to us until April 30th, according to my communications from the National Endowment for the Arts. But we can at least start getting, kind of building the procedures for how to give that money out.
Anybody have any other questions? Oh, wait. Would it be accessible to audiences beyond veterans? Oh, you mean the mini grants? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, it's we again these grants. It's a pool of money that we generally call mini grants, but we target them either at veterans, we target them at what we call lifelong learning. That includes veterans, that's senior centers, really adults of all ages, children of all ages. Arts and education mini grants are targeted mainly at schools, but also just about any organization that wants to hire a teaching artist to conduct an education program. So we have a lot of good ones here in the state. We have a roster of arts and education teaching artists that we have again at our website, arkansasarts.org, and I encourage you to check it out.
So Mary wants to know some of the things we're developing, like the SWAP online gallery. Are these things that will remain permanent after the pandemic?
I think this is the new normal. I don't anticipate that we would take them down. We haven't really discussed that, but any expense we incur in doing that will be kind of sunk when we get them up. And I think this is the future. I think this is, a lot of organizations are already doing this long before COVID-19, and I think that I think this is the new normal. And so yeah, I think they'll stick around.
You're awesome.
Thanks, Mom.
Okay, one more. How are you determining who will receive? Oh, we don't have that. If you mean the, she wants to know how you will determine who will get the NEA grants, but we haven't made that decision yet.
That's going to be that's part of what we're figuring out right now is what the criteria are. We have general operating support grants that we give out on an annual basis already. Obviously in an emergency situation, when this crisis is negatively affecting everyone in a way that challenges different than what your general operating are, we will take all that into consideration. But that's actually something I'll be working with the department and to develop with my staff to develop here in the next week. So we're moving.
And most of the grants that we already have, that has like panels and things, right?
Most of our grants currently operate with panels. We bring in usually 3 outside panelists, often from out of state, so they're very objective panels. We're very satisfied with that. If we're going to use, I'm not sure yet if we're going to use that same model to do the relief grants, but stay tuned because we're going to move fast on it.
Okay, anybody else? Oh. Okay, are grant applications submitted before COVID still moving through the pipeline?
Yes, they are. In fact, we conducted an arts and education panel 2 weeks ago. Time's getting away from me. So, but yes, we conducted. We already conduct remote panels, and so we conducted that I think last week, and they are moving forward now. I will warn you that we still don't know what the revenue projections. We have an idea of the revenue impact of the COVID-19 crisis. I know that during a special session a couple of weeks ago, we were looking at a revenue shortfall for the entire state in the hundreds of millions of dollars. I think that ultimately we were looking at, I think I want to say at least a guess was $360 million. But don't quote me on that because every economist has a different projection. It ain't good. So I will have to see what our grant budget is like. We have these grants in the pipeline. We have general operating support grants that have also been processed, already been reviewed by a panel, and our collaborative project support grants. They are all contingent on available funding. At this point, I can't make you any promises, but they are still active grants, and your applications will all be considered. The recommendations of the panel will be considered by the Arts Council. We have a meeting scheduled for May. I think it's May 14th, but we'll have to work that out under these new conditions. But ultimately, there will be recommendations made, and then we'll just see if we have the funding to fund those recommendations.
Okay, so Lily Marie is asking, if we are able to host virtual programming, are there potentially additional funds for COVID-19 programming? And I'm not sure if she means
specifically on COVID-19 or if she means
funds that would be, we do have virtual programs that we will do grants for. So if you have a lifelong learning or a mini grant idea, you should definitely call or email.
Yeah, and we have also commissioned some programming ourselves. I will say that if you have a proposal for an online program that you'd like to talk to us about, I would, if you want to target our audience, or if you want to see if we're interested, I encourage you to. I'll say get a hold of Scarlett here and pitch her, and of course she'll talk to me, and we'll take a look at it and see. But right now, when we walked out, when we had to leave the office, we basically became kind of an online platform, an online service organization. So we're all operating from home. I would say that I'm amazed. We have an 8-person staff. Every one of them is working hard from home. How do I know that? They drive me crazy all day long. I can't even get out of my office. I can't even go to the kitchen to get coffee. They are constantly asking me to sign stuff. They're asking me to weigh in on decisions. We are still in the business of supporting artists and arts organizations, and I've done more video conferences in the last 3 weeks than I'd ever done in my life. I'm getting quite used to it. So I've even had to clean up my studio so I have an appropriately curated background when I show up on the video.
There's some button that you can push that fuzzes that out.
Yeah, that's not fun. I want to look smart. I want to look creative. So.
Okay, well, I guess we will see you at 6 if you want to join back in and ask more questions. Or you can email me. It's Scarlett, SCARLET .sims, SIM as in Mary, S, at arkansas.gov. Or check out our website. That's www.arkansasarts.org. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.